I guess that's early enough. Let's see. Right? Yeah. Uh-oh, I think I broke something. Definitely broke it. Boom. Bam. 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 There we go. There we go. There we go. Top chat, live chat. Boom, boom. Who's that? Oh, stupid. Dumb. Okay. Where am I at? Boom. 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 Hit the like button. Hit the like button. What up, Ziggin' Zaggin'? What up, Yogi brother? Brother, I've got one. I've got one. Have you not seen it? Have you not seen it? Have you not seen it? Oh, I broke it. 110th grade, home of the Oxpeckers. Yeah. What up, HJ, brother? What up, Yogi, brother? What up, Ziggin' Zaggin', brother? Yep, I got it, and I'm working on more. I would like the real propaganda isn't real and the government loves you shirt. All right, consider it done. Let me copy that down. I'll do that tomorrow before stream. Prop isn't real and yeah, I definitely got to get them out before winter. Yeah, boy. There we go. All right. Okay. Obviously, mine should be free since it will sell a lot. Right. Obviously, totes obs. Well, I think I'm going to start, now that I've got some money coming in, I'm going to start taking a percentage of what YouTube deposits, and I'm going to do like that. I'm going to try to start doing it weekly, but I got to start getting paid regularly, and that should happen starting last month. So this month should be like a decent check every month. Yeah, so I'm gonna start giving some stuff away. I did the top 3 chatters a couple of streams ago got $20, $15, and $10 Amazon gift cards. I'm working on my backyard to get food from it. I'll start looking for chicken in 2 days, and already started to get seeds and sprouts. Yeah. That's what you've seen my stuff, right? Yeah, and I started on the Discord. I started another channel. A channel on Discord, Greenhouse Talk, and I started one yesterday or something, Health Talk, but Greenhouse Talk, I'll do all the raised beds and stuff like that in there too. There's my other. I'll finish my aquaponic rig and get watercress from it. Right. So I think I told you. I think I told you that I get watercress. I get bok choy, melons, squash, all hydroponic. And it's so like it's so easy to do, dude. It's so easy. You and like everything that I used was like these 4x4 legs, PVC legs that I just cut holes in with a hole saw to fit these cups in that have mesh on the side. I fill them full of these little ceramic beads, and then you put the sprout in there, and then it just. Yeah, it works really good. Have you seen Copper? Yes. It's called electro farming. Electro farming? Yeah, yeah. My mom's brought that up a lot. Yeah, electroculture, electroculture. No. Electroagriculture, a revolutionary, sustainable farming method that uses electricity to produce food in complete darkness, decoupling agriculture from sunlight and soil. It converts CO2 and water into acetate, a nutrient-rich molecule, rather than. This ain't the one me and you were talking about. We were talking about using the copper wires outside in your garden bed, like face north to south, and yeah. I'm a little limited by the weather in the space here. Yeah. No, I got you, absolutely. But even with little areas, like you can still do 5 plants. And look what the Amish do. Amish winter beds farming. They use old windows and stuff. Well, these are showing people using plastic on the internet, but they set them up like this, like at an angle facing the sun. Right here, let me do this. An angle facing the sun, south or whatever. Facing south, not facing the sun. And then they use old barn windows or whatever to make their little greenhouses. And then they've got something that'll give them something ready at the end of winter. I did an experiment one time, used a double polarized crystal versus no crystal, but the plants in the crystal grew 300% faster and healthier. And with crystals. Gotcha. Yeah, electroculture. Yeah. I recommend carbon rods from the copper for the ground. Hey, I got enough area to try one in one, or one in one bed, one in another bed. I have a 2-bed set up and a 3-bed set up, so I could do but I want them to be. We'll talk about it. Yeah, here you go, right here. See these guys right here? These are like old windows, and that way, you can really keep going. Greenhouse grows in the snow. No grows in snow. No greenhouse. Yeah, no, they're great. Right. We've most of us have been convinced that we need power, electricity. We need everything, or we're gonna die, and they don't do any of it. Have you ever seen these guys build a house? Amish speed run building barn. Apparently you can make a large. Hold on. Apparently you can make a large coiled antenna underground about 6 inches. No bugs will come in. Plants go as well. So that the theory of the copper wire and it's plugged in, but it's you can pop it back out of the ground. So that thing's humming at 60 hertz in the U.S., 50 in other countries. So if you run your power underground and you get a big area, that they don't want to crawl into that. But I have humid tropical weather. Yeah, that's exactly the opposite of what I showed you. Yeah. I'll have to look into that too. I already harvested male banana plantain. Yeah. I don't have plantains up here. I have bananas growing, but they're only for decorative. They don't have a long enough fruiting cycle. So they only get about 3 inches long, and purple. They don't ever get to what they need to. Gardening in winter, learn here every time. Bam, brother, I'm here to help. Those one work without plugging it in. Uses geocurrent. That sounds like it should work. I didn't even think about that. All right, let me check something real quick. Let me just double check that they ain't got no copyrighted music in here. Yeah, okay. I would like to mix Earth battery technology with electrical.
It took about 30 men 12 hours to put up this 32 by 48.
Yeah. The only thing you got to do about that is so you can do your raised bed, but you've got to decouple. You got to decouple the soil from the soil. The soil in your bed, electrically decouple it from the soil in the earth, in the earth. Yep, it's possible. Yeah, just a couple more dollars.
For Leslie Cast.
I think that would be an interesting thing to see too, about how that works.
He would repay the men with the year's rent-free use of the barn. The Vernon County men make up the state's largest Amish community. Barn raising has been an Amish tradition for hundreds of years and can involve as many as 150 men. They're contacted
150
only
guys
through
show
word of mouth
up.
when a barn of the
Use the
community
arrows
needs
to
to be
ground
raised.
wire. 33 feet, 133 feet. 33 feet is 1 atmosphere underwater. An Amish barn took 10 hours for 30 men. Dude, these guys are freaking nuts, dude. They got it pre-painted and everything. They incorporate their own ladders into the woodwork itself. Look at that. Look at that. They don't have any ladders there. I don't see any ladders. They just build 2x on the sides of the 2x. Jeez, too bad the Amish don't have computers. The Amish, right? Yeah, I'm right there with you, brother. I think I'm turning Japanese. Man. Oh, I saw a car. Ants here will force me to decouple after some time. I just want to start cheap metal sheet beds and then apply weapon. Yeah. Just start. Yeah, just start. Just start, yeah. That's the important thing, because then, start, fail. And also you can see in your beds, you have your main crops that you want to grow, but you can also find flowers and stuff that the ants don't like marigolds, and you can just plant marigolds in the same bed, even though you don't care about harvesting marigolds, but they don't cost nothing, especially, once you buy 1 pack of seeds, you're going to keep getting them forever. The Amish are actually using technology. It's not too far off. I mean, hey, in this video, you got about 30 guys crawling all over this structure, no ladders, no safety, and doing it pretty quick, regardless of if they're using some technology or not. That's an impressive feat. You can't even find 30 people that like each other in any other community. I see them with music playing in their carts. They got MP3 players. I mean, this, somebody's filming it, obviously, right? Oh, there's 1 ladder, 2 ladders. Look at this craziness, though. But I mean, it's not like ladders or technology. I'm saying instead of not using tech like smartphones. Yeah. Oh, right. Gotcha. I'm waiting for the first Amish freaking hip hopper to come out. He's like, oh, damn it, what would he be selling? Can't even think of. I'm trying to think of a joke. loophole. Horse-drawn buggies are not considered cars. Add electric motors to the battery bank. There you go. There you go. There you go. No exhaust. Put roller skates on the horses and then just push the horses. I'm thinking. I'm not saying, but I see a bunch change for the future. Yeah, and I also think, Bob, like this last election, a lot of the Amish realized that they didn't know what was going on with the country. The whole thing when like Elon Musk had to go over there for however many months he spent with them to be like, look, you guys got to vote for this guy that you don't even know who he is, but here's what's going on. Let me fill you in with what's going on. I think that had a lot to do with it. Yogi, got ideas. A marigold doesn't grow here. I'll have to rely on lemon. Right. You get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. Whatever plant that you could, as a throwaway, that you're not trying to harvest. You just grow specifically for the oil or whatever that it produces to keep whatever bugs you have away. Amish gang. All right. Let me write that down. All right, I'm on it. Those are my 2 shirts for tomorrow. I got a 16-ounce hammer. My mom picked me up from the slammer. Horse-drawn buggy, bitch. I'm gonna hit her up because she's a snitch. Oh, God. I don't think that one will sell that. But we'll see. They use power tools. They just aren't allowed to use it on their homes, but it works as long as it's long enough. It's not energy from the grid. I would. Yo, Amish raps. I hit that bee with a 16-ounce hammer. My mom had to pick me up from the slammer. Horse-drawn buggy. No, never mind. They definitely use firearms. I wonder what century they cut off. Like obviously they use stuff up till like the technology. I think they just sway away. And I know that a lot of their homes have a phone for emergencies, like if strong weather's coming and they need to be made aware, because a lot of the old heads don't use radio, so they have a phone, but it's in the outhouse. So like that was like the concession that they made. Like, yes, you can run phones here, but don't put it in our homes. It can't break up family time. And that's probably what's going on with the kids in their buggies with their radios. Like they turn it off and hide it under the seat before they get home. Amish raps. Yo, Amish raps. TV. All right, where are we at? Okay. All right, let's see. Bang, 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 bang. Okay. So that who keeps the sex hotline, that's exactly right. It's the Amish. It's the old Amish women. Amish grand. What up, basketball? Little native mama. Hey, Rich, I'm walking through the world at 100 miles an hour. How about you? Yes, ma'am. Me too, little native mama. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Forgot what I was doing already. Why didn't it translate to grandma? What was it supposed to be? I translated to grandma. I got no idea. Don't be a bum. Hit the thumb. Bam. Don't be a bum. Hit the thumb. Bam. Amish corn. Be like butter churning and ankle showing. Oh, right. Corn. Right. Whoa. I think I saw Mabel's ankles. I'm gonna need a minute. Amish corn. Okay, let's see. What was I wanting to look into earlier? Wonder why the comments were turned off. Let's see what these are.
Some people build their home.
That looks dumb. My Mabel's ankles. Amish corn.
On flat ground, near good schools, close to shops. And then there are the ones who look at a raging river, a sheer cliff, or an active volcano, and say, that's where I want to live. These are 20 of the riskiest houses on the planet. Some have been destroyed and rebuilt multiple times. Others sit so far above the ground that a wrong step means certain death. And at least one sits directly in the path of one of the most dangerous volcanoes on Earth. Drina River House, Serbia. A tiny wooden cabin sitting on a rock in the middle of a wild river.
It's got power
no bridge,
running to it.
No road.
What's up, Sylvia?
Just water rushing all around it. The Drina River House sits on a bare rock in the middle of the Drina River, near the town of Bajina Bašta in western Serbia. It was first built in 1968 by a group of young swimmers who needed shade from the scorching summer heat. They gathered loose wooden planks that had been carried down by the river itself and built a simple shelter, not knowing that this little cabin would one day become one of the most photographed structures in the world. The Drina River does not play nice. It is one of the most unpredictable rivers in Europe, and it has destroyed this house 7 times since 1968. Each time the river rose and took the cabin away, the locals rebuilt it.
There's ancient
in some
cities.
cases,
on top of all the mountains where people who are born, people who weren't born there couldn't breathe are awesome. I saw one that had that water system flows uphill. Yeah, that shit. Dude, listen, that's crazy stuff too. That's crazy stuff. You know, like, and they know the physics that they know and deal with is different than what they want us to deal with. They want us buying pumps, but yeah, that's pretty cool stuff.
the cabin was swept downstream in one piece, and the builders would chase it by kayak, sometimes for dozens of kilometers, just to drag it back to the rock. The current house, standing since 2011, was built with two concrete...
I stayed in the Price Tower for the 4th of July a couple of years ago. We had the entire 13th floor to ourselves. Frank Lloyd Wright was an interesting guy. He definitely was. He did a lot of wackadoo. I was about to say agriculture. Architecture.
concrete beams to help it survive the river's force. In August 2012, a photograph of the Drina River House was chosen as the National Geographic Photo of the Month, seen by millions of people around the world.
Those mountain settlements.
The Drina Regatta, an annual river event with up to 20,000 participants,
extremely poor,
passes right by the house every year. What started as a teenager's summer project has become a symbol of stubbornness, survival, and the refusal to let nature win. Katske, Pillar Monastery, Georgia. A monk lived on top of a 130-foot rock pillar for 20 years. He only came down twice a week. This is not a legend. It actually happened. The Katske Pillar is a natural limestone rock column standing approximately 40 meters, about 130 feet, tall, in the Emeriti region of western Georgia. On top of this narrow column with a surface area of just 150 square meters, sits a medieval monastery complex complete with a church, a wine cellar, hermit cells, and a burial crypt. For centuries, locals called it the Pillar of Life and believed it was connected to the nearby village church by a long iron chain stretching across the sky. The monastery dates back to the 9th or 10th century.
Can you imagine carrying all that stone, or at least unless that stone was available up there? That's crazy. Reminds me of the toilet in my bathroom. Fortress of Solitude. Dun, 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 dun. I need my alone time.
And evidence suggests
My
it was
alone
still in
time.
active use as late as the 13th century. The pillar was so difficult to climb that an 18th century Georgian scholar wrote, "There is a small church on the top of the rock, but nobody is able to ascend it, nor know they how to do that." It wasn't until July 1944 that a team of mountaineers made the very first documented climb to the top. And what they found up there stunned the academic
There
world.
was a dude.
In 1995,
How
a
bad?
monk named Maxim
How bad does your voice have to be to add a computer voice? Yeah, brother, I don't know why people do that. Listen, I think a lot of people aren't, maybe they don't speak English, and like, because I know a lot of people from like India and whatnot that do a lot of video editing and a lot of stuff like that, and I think it's they want to appeal to English speaking audience. I mean, think about it. If I put out a video with speaking Punjabi, I get like 3 cents per 1,000 views. If I put out an English one, I can get like $5 to $6 per 1,000 views. That's what I mean. Or I can't. Like, looks like he's doing pretty good. 6,000 subs, 4,800 views. I don't know what the rest is like, but I don't know. I may hire somebody. I mean, it's easy to hire people. You just say, hey, whatever this video makes, I'll give you this percentage of it for this amount of time. Admiral Space Cowboy. AI narrating the video. Yeah, definitely.
Kavtaradze climbed to the top and stayed
It's only
for 20
a month old,
years.
so it's definitely AI.
With help from local
Weird how
villagers,
that works.
he
Different
restored the
countries use it.
1,200-year-old chapel by hand, hauling materials up the sheer rock face. He came down only twice a week, living in near total isolation above the clouds. The pillar has since been closed to the public, making it one of the most unreachable inhabited structures ever built on Earth. Coober Petty Underground Homes,
Wow,
Australia.
that's pretty freaking cool.
This Australian town gets so hot that the entire population moved underground. Not metaphorically, literally underground. Coober Pedy is a small mining town in South Australia, sitting in the middle of one of the most unforgiving deserts on Earth. Surface temperatures regularly exceed 50 degrees Celsius in summer, making normal above-ground living almost unbearable. So the residents did something remarkable. They carved their homes, called dugouts, directly into the sandstone hillsides below the surface, where temperatures stay a natural 23 degrees Celsius year-round. Today, around half of Coober Pedy's population lives underground. The dugouts are far from primitive. Many have full kitchens, living rooms,
Damn, that's
multiple
pretty cool.
bedrooms,
Yeah, dude, I would too.
and even underground
Absolutely.
churches.
I would absolutely live in a cave. Absolutely. I would like to find like an inset and then spend like a year digging it out myself and like making it exactly how I like it. Absolutely. Yeah, yes. Lots of people in the Middle East too. Yeah, it's hot as hell there too. A lot of areas, and yeah, we watched it a couple of months ago, but we watched a video on the mountain people. My cave would be my boss tier. My uncle owns his place. My uncle owns his place in Cobbler Petty. Oh yeah. Let's take a look.
The town is also the world's largest source of opals, producing over 70% of the global supply. The same mining techniques used to dig for opals are used to expand the homes. What makes Coober Pedy truly risky is what lies beneath the ground everywhere else in town.
I'd do it.
The entire area is riddled with thousands of unmarked mine shafts, some dropping 30 meters straight down. Walking around at night without a torch is genuinely dangerous. Visitors have fallen into shafts and never been found. Wazoko, apartments, Amsterdam.
Let's see what freaking wackadoodle space cow's got here. Let's see what wackadoodle space cow's got to ruin my tempo. Bam, 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 bam. This freaking guy. I'm proud to say I can. I'm proud to say I can sing "Teenage Dirtbag" better than you. I don't think so. You jump on the live.
Hello everyone. Today I'm gonna eat some liquid glue. So let's.
dude. Ah, dude.
Tasty. Every scabby tail for my chick, I guess you've ever seen next. I get to go now by.
Ah, dude. That guy's freaking wackadoodle. Freaking nut job. Oh, man.
Netherlands. 13 apartments are bolted to the outside of this building.
That's where he got his technique down. Here we are yapping about changing my channel. And I'm still the same DJ ass name. What you gonna do, DJ? What you gonna do?
Building. They hang over a busy street with nothing underneath them but steel rods.
Your
Lozoko
problem,
is a
brother,
house-
you need consistency. You gotta be consistent. What up, honeybee? Welcome, my girl.
Housing complex in Amsterdam Osdorp, designed by the Dutch architecture firm MVRDV and completed in 1997.
Never ate liquid glue.
The building was commissioned to house...
I remember smelling like kindergarten paste as a kid, but I don't ever remember eating it. Yeah, well, you gotta make decisions, brother. You gotta set a goal. Honeybee.
100 elderly residents on a plot of land that could only legally fit 87 apartments. Rather than reduce the number of units, the architects came up with a solution that shocked the engineering world. They cantilevered 13 apartments directly off the north face of the building, suspending them midair using massive steel rods anchored into the main structure.
Yeah, got you,
Each cantilevered apartment juts out between 2.6 and 9.6 meters from the main building.
Boogers and freaking peel the skin off of our faces and our hands. Yeah, that was good old stuff. Good old stuff.
The steel rods holding them in place are visible from the street below, giving the building the appearance of a structure that is slowly falling apart, except it is entirely deliberate. Engineers calculated the load bearing to the millimeter, and the building has stood without incident for nearly 30 years. Lozoko has won multiple architecture awards and is studied in engineering schools worldwide. But for the residents living in the suspended units, every creak of the building is a reminder that their home is essentially a giant bracket bolted to a wall. Hanging houses of Cuenca, Spain.
Wow.
These 15th
Hanging houses of Cuenca, Spain.
Century houses were built directly on the edge of a cliff. Their foundations are the cliff face itself. The Casas Colgadas, meaning hanging houses, are a group of medieval buildings in the city of Cuenca in central Spain. Built in the 15th century, they sit on the edge of a dramatic cliff above the Huicar River Gorge. The buildings were constructed so close to the edge that their balconies extend directly over a sheer drop of nearly 40 meters to the river below. The houses were built this way largely out of necessity. Space inside the walled city was extremely limited, and builders pushed structures as close to the cliff edge as physically possible. The wooden balconies that hang over the gorge were originally used for drying clothes and storing goods. Everyday tasks performed meters above a fatal drop. Today, the hanging houses are a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of Spain's most visited landmarks. One of the buildings now houses the Museum of Spanish Abstract Art, but the structures themselves are aging, and engineers continue to monitor the cliff face beneath them for signs of erosion and movement. Chemosphere House, Los Angeles,
My
U.S.
last pair of glasses are around here somewhere. Oh no, maybe not. Yeah, they're around here somewhere. Eye crutches, yeah, freaking wackadoodle ass space cow.
This house has only one way in and one way out, a funicular car attached to a steel cable. If the cable snaps, you're stranded. The Chemosphere is a private residence in the Hollywood Hills of Los Angeles, designed by architect John Lautner and completed in 1960. It sits on a hillside so steep, at a 45-degree angle, that conventional foundations were impossible to build. Instead, Lautner mounted the entire octagonal house on top of a single concrete pillar, 5.5 meters tall, driven deep into the hillside. The house
You're
has
still
no road
laughing about eye
access.
crutches?
The only way to reach it is via a private funicular, a small cable car that carries residents up the slope from a garage at the bottom. The design was so radical for its time that Encyclopedia Britannica called it the most modern home built in the world in 1961. It has appeared in numerous films and television shows since. In 2000, the house was purchased by a German publisher who undertook a full restoration. It remains a private home today, perched above Los Angeles on its single concrete leg,
Jeez.
completely
That's
inaccessible
what I
from the
was
street
saying.
below.
This has been there since 1961. Yeah, I'm surprised too. Yeah. Eye crutches.
Maldives over water,
Maldives.
bungalows, Maldives.
Maldives.
The entire country sits just 1.5 meters above sea level. Every single home here is one major storm away from being swallowed by the ocean.
Right.
The Maldives is an island nation in the Indian Ocean, made up of 1,192 coral islands, and it holds the record as the lowest-lying country on Earth. No point on any island rises more than 2.4 meters above sea level. Overwater bungalows, homes, and resort villas built directly on stilts above the ocean are not just a tourist attraction here. For many communities, building
Not
over the
good for
water is a
sleep
practical
walkers.
response to
No.
the severe lack
No, you
of
wake up
usable
dead.
land. The real risk
I
is
can't
not
help
the
but wonder about the
stilts.
plumbing. You know,
It
you
is
know
the
exactly
sea
what happens
itself.
with the plumbing. You know exactly
Scientists
what happens.
project-
You've got a glass floor, and you can see the fish come up and eat your poo.
That if current rates of sea level rise
Nah,
continue,
they probably have proper plumbing.
the majority of the Maldives will be uninhabitable by 2100. The government has already begun purchasing land in other countries as a contingency plan, including land in Sri Lanka and Australia, to relocate its entire population if
Bomb
needed.
atrocious.
Storm surges are an immediate and regular threat.
Honeybee
In
needs eye
December
crutches.
2004, the Indian Ocean tsunami flooded over 80% of the Maldives' total land area. Entire islands were submerged for hours. People living in overwater structures had no higher ground to retreat to. There simply was none.
That's
Hanging
actually a
Monastery,
pretty good
Mount
real estate deal. Every couple of years, everybody that was living in those houses get washed away, and you just resell the house again every couple of years. That's freaking good business plan.
This monastery has been clinging to a vertical cliff face for over 1,500 years. It is held in place by wooden beams inserted into holes drilled into solid rock. The Xuankang Temple,
That's
commonly known
absolutely
as the
crazy.
Hanging Monastery,
That's crazy.
is located on Mount Heng in Shaanxi Province, China.
Imagine being on
Built
that toilet
during the
ride.
Northern Wei
Yeah.
Dynasty around 491 AD, it is constructed into the side of a sheer cliff approximately 50 meters above the ground. The structure is supported entirely by oak crossbeams inserted horizontally into holes carved into the rock face, with the cliff wall itself forming the rear wall of the building. The monastery was deliberately built high on the cliff for two reasons: to protect it from the flooding of the Zhulong River below, and to shield it from the heavy mountain rains by positioning it under a natural rock overhang. It has survived earthquakes, floods, and over 1,500 years of weather in one of China's most mountainous regions. Today, it houses 40 rooms connected by corridors, boardwalks, and bridges, all suspended above a fatal drop. The Chinese poet Li Bai, visiting in the Tang Dynasty, was reportedly so unsettled by the sight of it that he carved the words "unimaginably precipitous" into the rock nearby. That carving is still there today. Lake Kivu homes Dr. Congo and Rwanda. This lake sits on top of 300 cubic kilometers of dissolved methane gas. If it erupts, it would be one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history. Lake Kivu sits on the border between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda in Central Africa. It is one of the world's deepest lakes and one of only 3 known exploding lakes on Earth. Lakes that contain enormous amounts of dissolved carbon dioxide and methane gas in their deep water. Communities of tens of thousands of people live directly on its shores.
If you've never heard about these before, one of the worst fatal accidents in besides being killed by floodwaters, being killed by flood gas, carbon dioxide, just like it's slowly dissolving into the water, but once it hits that breaking point where it crashes out and turns into a big ass bubble, it just goes bloop bloop. And because carbon dioxide is heavier than air, it stays close to the ground, and then it just floods over people in their sleeps and just suffocates them. They don't even know that they're dying. You better not. Nope. Taco Bell will be. Let me see. Let me see if we can find that real quick. Let me see if we can find it. Burping lake that killed thousands. Yeah, here it is. 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 Nyos. Lake Nyos.
This is the story of the Lake Nyos disaster, where this lake killed 1,700 people in a single night from 25 kilometers away. Welcome to a series that I'm calling Scientifically Interesting Ways to Die. On the evening of August 21st, 1986, residents around Lake Nyos, Cameroon, went to sleep as usual. The lake sat peacefully in an ancient volcanic crater, its water undisturbed for decades.
Metric
beneath
tons,
the tranquil surface, a geological time bomb was about to detonate. Deep underwater, volcanic vents had slowly been releasing carbon dioxide.
Because the water pressure is so high, it can liquefy it, or dissolve it into the water, so hydrate it or liquefy it. And then brush movements, once it gets to the point where it cavitates, I don't know if cavitate's the right word, but it turns into, cavitate's a vacuum, so it turns into a bubble, and then it rises to the surface because it's lighter than water, but it doesn't make any sense that it's underwater all this time. What up, Cheryl?
Into the lake for years. The immense pressure at the bottom kept the CO2 dissolved in the water like a massive underwater soda bottle, creating a deadly stratification that concentrated the gas in the deepest waters. But that night, something, possibly a landslide or minor earthquake, disturbed the lake's equilibrium. As the layers of water were violently mixed, the deep carbon dioxide-rich water suddenly rushed to the surface, called a limnic eruption, and forced the dissolved gas out of solution, releasing an estimated 1.6 million tons of carbon dioxide in an explosive degassing event. The massive cloud of invisible, odorless CO2, heavier than air, rolled out of the lake crater at 60 miles per hour, the toxic blanket hugging the ground as it spread across the countryside, displacing all available oxygen in its path. At around 10 p.m., the cloud reached the local villages and residents, bringing with it a wave of quiet death. CO2 doesn't poison you, it smothers you, displacing the oxygen in your lungs faster than your body can sound the alarm. At most, they felt a wave of brief dizziness, then they simply lost consciousness and died where they stood. The next morning, entire villages were found with people and animals collapsed exactly where the gas cloud had passed. Survivors described the eerie silence where nothing alive stirred in the affected areas. In the wake of the tragedy, engineers installed degassing pipes into Lake Nyos to prevent another catastrophe. The view of the hilltop standing as a constant reminder that nature really can take your breath away. If you like science...
So, interesting thing about this also is some people lived in the same house and survived. So like there was kids that were on the top bunk, they didn't get as much carbon dioxide mix. So they had enough air at the top of their room on their bed that they woke up and their family's dead, and they're just like, they go outside and the whole freaking world's dead. Their entire world is just dead animals, dead people. But yeah, some that stayed on higher elevations, slightly higher elevations, like on bunk beds and stuff, survive. Let me see if I can find a story. It's kind of rough though, but. He found it. Okay, yeah, I don't know if I want to talk about this, but yeah, it's kind of rough. Anyway, okay. Joseph Naquine described waking up Friday morning, the day after the disaster, finding he could not speak. He found his daughter dead and observed a starchy mess and wounds on his own body before attempting to move into his neighbors' homes, only to find them dead as well. Recounting losing his wife, whom he found dead on the floor rather than the bed. So she slept on the floor and he was sleeping on the bed. So just that couple of feet of offset was all it needed between life and death. Found dead on the floor rather than the bed, expressing immense shock as survivors believed the air was poisoned. Survived the night but lost 4 children. Years later, she expressed that she had more children to move past the disaster, although a fear remained. Recalled thinking rain was approaching before the engulfed toxic gas, losing consciousness, describing the scene as a flood of gas. Recalled overwhelming mix of gunpowder and rotten eggs in the air before... Jesus, man.
And on islands within the lake itself. The danger is called a limnic eruption, a sudden,
Nose
massive
breathers and
release of
mouth
gas
breathers,
from
baby,
deep within
brother.
the lake, triggered by a disturbance such as an earthquake or
Or
volcanic
some
activity.
dude freaking...
Lake
and you
Neos
were
in Cameroon experienced a limnic eruption in
Some
1980.
kid went up there, did a cannonball in the middle of the night and offset the gases, killed everybody.
86 that killed approximately 1,800 people overnight. Lake Kivu holds roughly 1,000 times more gas than Lake Neos. Scientists estimate that a major eruption could kill millions of people
Nice,
within
he
hours.
missed.
Rwanda
Luca,
has
wear
been
panties.
extracting methane from
Luca,
the
wear
lake
panties.
since 2015 and uses it as an energy source, both to reduce the risk and to power homes and businesses. But extraction is slow. The gas replenishes continuously, and the 2 active volcanoes nearby, Nyiragongo and Nyamulagira, mean the risk of a triggering event never fully goes away. Meteora Monasteries, Greece. These monasteries sit on top of rock pillars 400 meters tall. For 700 years, the only way in or out was a rope and a wooden net.
Oh, man. look at
Meteora
that.
is a complex of 6 Eastern
How do they
Orthodox
carve that?
monasteries built on
Had to have
top of
been
natural
natural.
sandstone rock pillars in central Greece, near the town of Kalambaka. The pillars rise up to
Yeah,
400 meters from the
sleepwalkers, done.
ground, and the monasteries, the first of which was built in the 14th century, were deliberately constructed on the most inaccessible peaks to protect the monks from the constant warfare and invasion of the era. For nearly 700 years, the only way to reach the monasteries was via rope ladders or large nets that were hauled up by hand. Supplies, building materials, and people were all transported this
Yeah,
way.
dude.
The ropes were reportedly only replaced when they broke, a policy that would make any modern health and
The
safety
ropes were only replaced when they broke. Well, who was on them when they broke? Jesus.
inspector faint. Steps were finally carved into the rock in the 1920s. Today, 6 of the original 24 monasteries remain active and are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, drawing over 1 million visitors per year. The rocks themselves are still crumbling. Geologists note the pillars have been eroding for millions of years and will eventually collapse. For now, monks still live up there, just as they have for 7 centuries.
Damn, that's awesome.
Fallingwater,
7
Pennsylvania, USA.
What up,
This
Rudy?
house was built directly over a waterfall. Its architect said it would last
Yeah.
forever. Within 10 years, the floors were already cracking. Fallingwater is a private residence designed by legendary American architect Frank Lloyd Wright.
There you go,
Completed
Frank
in
Lloyd Wright.
1939 in the Laurel
Hey, that's my
Highlands of
place,
southwest
Fallingwater. I go there all the
Pennsylvania.
time. There you go,
Built for the
honeybee.
Kaufman family over Bear Run Waterfall, it features a series of dramatic concrete terraces cantilevered directly above the rushing water below. At the time, one of the most daring structural engineering feats ever attempted in residential architecture.
Jeez.
Wright famously insisted the
I
building
got
was
another
structurally
channel you should
sound.
look at. All right.
His engineers
Which one?
disagreed from the start. When the concrete
What are we looking
forms
at,
were
Jizzle?
removed during construction, the main terrace deflected, sagged, by nearly 2 inches more than Wright had predicted. Over the following decades, cracks appeared in the floors. Walls bowed outward, and moisture from the waterfall below caused constant structural damage. A major restoration project in 2002 required steel cables to be threaded through the concrete to prevent total collapse. Fallingwater is now considered one of the greatest architectural masterpieces of the 20th century, and receives over 170,000 visitors per year.
Jeez.
But it remains a building in a constant battle against the natural forces surrounding it: water, humidity, gravity, and time. Casa do Penedo, Portugal. This house was built between 4 enormous
House on the
boulders
rock
in the
in
mountains
Wisconsin.
of Portugal.
We'll have to take a look at
The
that
rocks
next.
are its walls, its
Frank
roof,
Lloyd Wright
and
is
its
such a- he did-
foundation all
definitely
at
did.
once. Casa do Penedo, meaning
Genesis
House of
Chamber,
Stone,
US.
is a private residence built in 1974 in the Feifa Mountains of northern Portugal. The house was constructed using 4 naturally occurring granite boulders as structural elements. 2 form the walls, 1 forms part of the roof, and the 4th acts as a natural support at the base.
That's crazy.
The result is a building that looks less like a house and more like something carved out of the mountain itself. The location sits at high altitude in the Serra da Falpera range, exposed to extreme weather, including heavy snow, strong mountain winds,
like living in
and
snow.
near-zero temperatures in winter. The house has no electricity connection from the national grid. It originally relied solely on a small swimming pool, built between the boulders and whatever natural resources the mountain provided. Despite its extreme location, Casa do Penedo became such a popular tourist attraction that the owners were eventually forced to stop using it as a private home. Thousands of curious visitors trekked up the mountain.
Now they got a big ass freaking windmill right out front. Who put a... Say what? Yeah. Who put a windmill
every year
there?
to see it, making private life impossible. It is now open to the public as a tourist attraction, and the boulders that form its structure are estimated to be over 400 million years old.
400 million.
Just enough room
Let me
island.
see if we can find this real quick. Hold on. What are we looking at? What are we looking at, Jizzle? I don't see it, brother. No, I can't find it, brother. All right, and what was the other one he said? House on the Rock in Wisconsin. Wow. Holy crap. There's got to be a video. Hold on.
One unique place in Wisconsin is House on the Rock. It's built on top of a column of rock called Deer Shelter Rock.
The infinity room is 218 feet. There's 3,000 pieces of glass.
Cantilevered over the valley.
I don't understand how it stays up.
You can feel it moving.
Oh yeah,
as you're
it
standing
sways
on
in the
it.
wind.
A couple of the collections that I
Jesus.
think are really noteworthy. The dollhouse room, which I'm sure a lot of people don't like.
Yep. Also, the original house I think is worth mentioning. You know, it has 13 different rooms. They're all kind of intertwined. There's some weird stuff in all of these exhibits. Whale eardrums, weird collections
Whale
of instruments.
eardrums.
There are walrus
Play
tusks.
themselves too.
There's a lot of world's largest in House on the Rock. What do you guys think of that whale?
The whale, yeah, it's very impressive.
Massive. It's huge.
Fun fact about it, it's longer than the Statue of Liberty is tall.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
one unique
Wow. Wow. All right, what do you got, Jizzle?
In 1961, a clay tablet sitting in a museum basement changed everything we thought we knew about our human history, not because of what was written on it, but because of what was drawn. The tablet showed a detailed route, not across continents, not between cities.
All right, hold on. We'll go to this after this. We'll finish this. No, this one's
New
only got a
York,
couple more minutes.
USA.
And we'll go back to
This
that so we
island
don't
is so
switch.
small
Lamb
that
is
the
back in
house
his
on it
field.
takes up almost the entire land surface.
This is only one video.
There is
Okay,
no
we'll
garden,
watch it
just
after
a door,
this, so
a
we can
few
watch the whole
steps,
thing.
and the river. Just Enough Room Island sits in the St. Lawrence River in the Thousand Islands region of New York State. It is privately owned and holds a single small house, a single tree, a small patch of grass, and almost nothing else. The island measures roughly 310 square meters in total, making it one of the smallest inhabited islands in the world. The home sits so close to the water's edge that during high water periods, the shoreline nearly reaches the front door. The Thousand Islands region sits on the US-Canada border, and the river here experiences dramatic seasonal flooding, heavy winter ice flows, and strong currents. Ice in winter regularly damages the small dock, and the island is completely cut off unless you own a boat. There is no bridge, no ferry, and no emergency vehicle access of any kind. The island was purchased in the 1950s by the Sizeland family, who wanted the smallest possible island that legally qualified as an island, which by local definition required a tree and enough room for a house. They found it, bought it, and built on it. The family still owns it today, making it one of the most extreme pieces of private real estate in North America. Phoenix House, Hawaii, USA. This house sits on a lava field at the base of the world's most active volcano. The architect built it there on purpose. The Phoenix House is a private residence and holiday rental located in Kalapana, on the Big Island of Hawaii, sitting on a hardened lava field at the base of Kilauea volcano, which has been in near-continuous eruption since 1983. The house was designed by architect Will Balehartz and built by the firm Artistry, completed around 2014.
That looked like they did a good job.
It was deliberately positioned in one of Hawaii's highest lava hazard zones, Lava Zone 1, the area considered most at risk from future flows. The entire neighborhood of Royal Gardens, which once surrounded this area, was completely destroyed by lava between 1983 and 2012. The Phoenix House was built on top of that same lava field, among the ruins of what was once a residential community. Its name is not accidental. It is a direct reference to rising from the destruction left behind by the volcano. The house is constructed to be as low impact and relocatable as possible, acknowledging that the lava will almost certainly return. Kilauea erupted again in 2018, sending new lava flows across the lower East Rift Zone and destroying over 700 homes in the surrounding area. The Phoenix House survived, but geologists have made clear it is a matter of when, not if, the lava returns. Afar Depression Homes, Ethiopia. This is one of the hottest places on the surface of the earth, and people have lived here continuously for thousands of years. The Afar Depression is a geological lowland in northeastern Ethiopia, sitting at the junction of three tectonic plates that are slowly pulling apart. Parts of it sit more than 100 meters below sea level, making it one of the lowest points on the African continent. The Afar people, a semi-nomadic group of around 1.5 million people, have lived here for thousands of years, building simple portable structures from wood and woven mats that can be dismantled and moved in hours. Temperatures in the Afar Depression regularly exceed 50 degrees Celsius, and the Danakil subregion, part of the depression, is widely recorded as the hottest permanently inhabited place on Earth, with average year-round temperatures of around 34 degrees Celsius. The ground is geologically active, with hot springs, lava lakes, sulfuric acid pools, and frequent earthquakes. The Urta Ale volcano, located within the depression, has had an active lava lake for over 100 years. The Afar people survived through camel herding, salt mining from the dried lake beds, and trade routes that have operated for centuries. Their homes are designed not for permanence, but for survival. Lightweight, ventilated, and movable. Living here is not a choice made for tourism or adventure. For the Afar people, this scorched and shifting ground is simply home.
Freaking wackadoodles. All right.
For 4,000 years, a clay tablet sat in the basement of the British Museum, sealed in protective resin and marked as too fragile to translate.
Near my home due to the oil
Museum records listed it as catastrophically damaged. Its cuneiform text corrupted by time and moisture.
Damn. Right. So what you gonna do? Right? What you gonna do? You're gonna say, give me some of that money. Dude, I saw this thing. I saw this thing where they had this person got paid to have a cell tower put in their yard that looks like a fake tree, but it doesn't look like a fake tree. It looks like a cell tower. So they get a couple $1,000s a month from the cell phone companies to put the cell phone tower there. So they moved out. They rent that thing like an Airbnb, and they make a bunch more money off of it. It's like 100% income because but I'm not working on that. What up, Cat? Hello, is it me? Oh, looking more.
Cataloged in 1876 after being pulled from the ruins of Nippur in modern-day Iraq, it was photographed once, filed, and forgotten. Too broken to read. Too risky to handle. Just another artifact in a collection of over 130,000 untranslated Sumerian tablets gathering dust in storage. But in 2019, a team of researchers using multispectral imaging technology...
Haven't heard of it yet, Lamb. Haven't heard of it. It's about time you started freaking taking it, you wackadoo. He's going to throw hands saying about me, Admiral Cow. All right, we'll take a look.
Designed for NASA finally penetrated the resin seal without touching the tablet itself. What they found was not just another administrative record about grain shipments or temple offerings. The text describes something called the return cycle, a specific astronomical alignment that would signal when they come back.
Wow.
And according to the translation, that alignment is approaching faster than anyone expected. The researchers published their findings in a peer-reviewed archaeology...
Well, listen, you can use all that. If he was too old to understand, you should definitely look into that. If he signed it away, you should contact a lawyer, dude. Because if he was too old to understand, like if he was going through cognitive decline, that contract's not legally binding.
Journal, then went silent. No follow-up papers, no media interviews. The lead translator, Dr. Michael Westenra from Oxford, retired abruptly 6 months later. When asked about the tablet in a brief email exchange, he wrote 4 words, "We translated it correctly," then he stopped responding. The tablet describes beings the Sumerians called the Anunnaki. Not as myths, not as gods in the way we think of religion, as physical entities who came from somewhere else, altered human genetics, built the first cities, and promised they would return when the celestial calendar completed its cycle. And the tablet gives a timeline encoded in
my ants also want the rights themselves, even though they don't live in the area. Of course they do. Of course they do. Of course they do.
Astronomical data that modern software can now calculate with terrifying precision. If you want to understand how ancient texts keep predicting things that sound like science fiction until they start coming true, subscribe. I break down discoveries like this every week that make you question everything you thought you knew about human history. Now, let's talk about what this tablet actually says.
Exactly.
The Sumerians appeared out of nowhere around 4,500 BCE in southern Mesopotamia between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. They had no evolutionary predecessor, no gradual development from hunter-gatherer tribes. One moment, there are scattered settlements of primitive farmers. The next, there is a full-blown civilization with written language, advanced mathematics, sophisticated astronomy, irrigation systems, metallurgy, and urban planning. Archaeologists call this the Sumerian problem.
Yeah.
How does a civilization emerge fully formed with knowledge that should have taken thousands of years to develop? The Sumerians themselves answered that question in their texts. They said the knowledge came from the Anunnaki, those who from heaven to earth came. Not metaphorical heaven, actual sky, actual descent. The Sumerian King List, a historical document that chronicles every ruler of ancient Sumer, describes kings who reigned for thousands of years before the Great Flood. Then it says the kingship was lowered from heaven. That is the exact phrase, lowered from heaven. After the flood, human kings ruled for normal lifespans. The text draws a clear line between two eras. Before the Anunnaki left, when godlike beings governed directly, and after they left, when humans ruled alone. For centuries, scholars dismissed these texts as...
Sadly, my father is currently acting like he doesn't want to deal with any of it. We tried setting up a meeting, but he complains about back issues that stop him from standing too long.
as mythology. Exaggerated king lists meant to legitimize royal bloodlines. Flood narratives borrowed and distorted over generations. Gods and heroes inflated into cosmic proportions. Just stories. But then we started finding the cities. Uruk, Ur, Eridu, Nippur, Lagash. Massive urban centers with populations in the tens of thousands, built with engineering precision that rivals modern construction. The ziggurats, stepped pyramids that served as temples and administrative centers, were aligned to specific stars with astronomical accuracy. The Sumerians tracked Venus with such precision that their calculations of its orbital cycle are only off by modern measurements by a few hours over a 500-year period.
That's pretty good.
They knew things they should not have known. They had star charts showing planets that were not rediscovered until the invention of the telescope. They described Saturn as having rings. They depicted the solar system with the sun at the center, not the Earth. This was 4,000 years before Copernicus, and they said all of this knowledge came from the Anunnaki, beings who descended from a planet called Nibiru, which followed an elliptical orbit that brought it into the inner solar system every 3,600 years. During these orbital approaches, the Anunnaki would return to Earth, check on their creation, and deliver new instructions before leaving again. The mainstream response to this is simple. The Sumerians were brilliant astronomers who figured this out through observation, and the Anunnaki stories are just how they explain natural phenomena they did not understand. Gods as metaphors for planets, myths as primitive science. But the sealed tablet complicates that explanation because it does not read like mythology, it reads like a schedule. The tablet, now catalogued as MS 3848 in the British Museum's digital archives, is written in a dialect of Akkadian mixed with older Sumerian logograms. Multispectral imaging revealed text that was invisible to the naked eye, buried under centuries of mineral deposits and resin coating. Researchers used infrared and ultraviolet light at specific wavelengths to make the cuneiform impression stand out from the background clay. What they found was a star chart. Not symbolic, literal astronomical positions of celestial bodies at specific dates. The tablet describes a conjunction of Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars in the constellation we now call Aquarius. It lists the position of Venus relative to the Pleiades star cluster. It references the precession of the equinoxes, the slow wobble of Earth's axis that changes which stars appear in the night sky over thousands of years. The tablet then says the following. When the wandering stars align in the house of the water bearer, and the bright one stands at the shoulder of the seven sisters, the path opens. The Anunnaki, who departed in the time of great waters, shall return as they promised. The first sign is the fire in the sky. The second sign is the shaking of the foundation. The third sign is the voice that speaks without sound. The researchers fed the astronomical data into software used by NASA to calculate historical star positions.
Watching in a public park right now. It's all right, Mike, brother. In Elden Ring, the Nox and the cities get banished for underground making a weapon that could kill a god. The government are lying crap. Yep. They'll lie till the end days. That's exactly right. That's right. To be fair, I was confused because you didn't capitalize the letters.
Positions. The alignment described in the tablet, the exact configuration of planets and stars, happens rarely. The last time it occurred was around 3100 BCE, right before the Sumerian civilization exploded into existence. The next time it happens is 2029. 6 years from now.
That's exactly right.
Dr.
What's a liar do when he dies?
A new insane
still.
JP Morgan lawsuit has backfired hilariously. We're going to get that
tablet, the exact configuration of planets and stars, happens rarely. The last time it occurred was around 3100 BCE, right before the Sumerian civilization exploded into existence. The next time it happens is 2029. 6 years from now, Dr. Westenra's team published this finding in the Journal of Cuneiform Studies in 2020. The paper was titled Astronomical Precision in Late Sumerian Prognostication Texts. Dry, academic, buried in technical language about ecliptic coordinates and sexagesimal mathematics. But on page 14, in a footnote,
No, he doesn't.
Westenra wrote something unusual for a peer-reviewed paper. The precision of the astronomical calculations in MS 3848 exceeds the known capabilities of Sumerian observational astronomy by several orders of magnitude. No explanation consistent.
What's wild is having landmarks across the world in line with each other. Yep, I agree. It's very, very interesting. It's very interesting. Space Cow is just jelly because I married Toy Train. What up, the court?
With current historical models accounts for this discrepancy. Translation, they should not have been able to calculate this. But they did. The tablet goes further. It describes what happens during the return cycle, not in mythological language, in procedural language, like instructions. The first who return are the Watchers.
That's good.
They arrive before the alignment completes to prepare the way. They move among men unseen, taking measure of what has been built, what has been forgotten. They mark those who carry the old blood, the line unbroken.
We're watching the translated sealed Sumerian tablet.
Since the time of mixing. Old blood, the line unbroken since the time of mixing. The Sumerians were obsessed with bloodlines. Their king lists did not just record names. They recorded genealogies going back to the Anunnaki themselves. They described a time when the Anunnaki interbred with humans, creating hybrid bloodlines that ruled as priest kings. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest written stories in human history, describes its hero as two-thirds God and one-third human, not metaphorically divine. The text literally describes his mother as a goddess, Ninsun, and his father as a human king. Gilgamesh was said to possess superhuman strength, extended lifespan, and knowledge beyond normal men. The story treats this as biological fact, not poetic exaggeration. Other Sumerian texts describe the Emi, which were objects or data storage devices that contained the fundamental knowledge of civilization. Whoever possessed the Emi controlled access to advanced knowledge in mathematics, astronomy, metallurgy, law, and agriculture. These were not abstract concepts. The text described them as physical objects that could be stolen, lost, or transferred. In one story, the goddess Inanna gets the god Enki drunk and steals the Emi from him, transporting them to her city of Uruk. If the Emi were just symbolic representations of knowledge, why describe them as things that can be physically moved? Why have entire myths about stealing them and hiding them? The sealed tablet mentions the Emi directly. It says, "When the Watchers complete their survey, the gatekeepers arrive. They carry the Emi of renewal, the patterns that remake what was broken. Those who remember the old covenants will be called. Those who forgot will be left to the rising waters." Rising waters. That is a reference to the flood narrative that appears in Sumerian texts thousands of years before the biblical version. The Epic of Atrahasis describes the Anunnaki deciding to wipe out humanity with a flood because humans had become too numerous and too noisy. But one Anunnaki,
too numerous and
Enki,
too noisy. Sounds
warned a
familiar.
human named...
Sounds familiar. Advanced, being able to see every mathematical solution would be pretty crazy. Yep. And in Elden Ring, Queen Markia uses stone tablets to subjugate the trolls in the war against the fire giants. Make of that what you will.
named Atrahasis to build a boat and save his family and animals. After the flood, the Anunnaki
Sounds
decided
like
to limit
that.
human
Sounds familiar.
lifespan
There are
and
still
reduce fertility
gatekeepers who
so the
decide who
population
shall
would
be
not
accessed
explode
and shall-
again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Every
Absolutely.
culture on Earth has a flood
This
myth.
This is why often you'll find in lots of industry that make people popular and powerful, they'll tell you how to do it, but they'll tell you wrong. Like a lot of people that tell people how to make popular YouTube videos and stuff like that, and popular TikTok videos, and popular XYZ, they tell them wrong to put them off course. So if the person selling the knowledge will make a bunch of money from it, but the people buying the knowledge will be put on the wrong path. So, you can say, hey, I can't get popular by doing this, so I'll lie and tell people that this is how to do it. They'll buy that information from me. I'll make the money off of it, and then and that's what happens a lot. No, it's very interesting. Yeah, I'm very familiar with the Sumerians. Yep, false advertisements. What up, Ben, brother?
More than 200 distinct flood narratives come from civilizations that had no contact with each other. The details vary, but the core is always the same: a global catastrophe. Divine beings decide to reset humanity.
Reset, yep.
And a chosen few survive to reach
What up, TW?
Mainstream archaeology explains this as cultural memory of localized floods exaggerated into global mythology. But the Sumerian version is strangely specific. It gives dimensions for the boat. It describes the duration of the rain and the flood. It names the mountain where the boat landed, Mount Nisir, which is a real mountain in the Zagros range. And now this tablet is saying it will happen again, not as punishment, but as part of a cycle. The rising waters link to the return of the Anunnaki. Nice. Researchers have tried to debunk the 2029 alignment. They argue that the tablet's astronomical references are too vague to pin down exact dates. They say the translation is speculative, assigning...
who wrote a book about what the elites do on money for fluids, but the book had to be taken off the market. Yep. What's up, Julio?
Modern astronomical terms to ancient descriptions that could mean many things. Westenra's team is accused of overinterpreting poetic language as literal prediction, but there is a problem. The tablet describes secondary markers, backup signals in case the primary alignment is not enough. In the season before the return, the Earth groans with increasing fury. Mountains that slept since the time of the Great Cold awaken with fire. The seas rise and swallow the coasts where men built their towers of pride. Sickness moves through the nations, unseen and without cure, carried by the very air. Earthquakes, volcanic activity, rising sea levels, global pandemics. These could describe almost any period of human history. Vague prophecy that fits whatever disaster people are currently experiencing.
When I figured out
except for one detail. The tablet says these events do not happen randomly. They follow a pattern tied to the position of Nibiru as it enters the inner solar system. The gravitational influence of a large planetary body passing through destabilizes the orbits of other planets, causing increased tectonic activity, climate disruption, and electromagnetic interference.
That's laughable.
This is where it gets controversial.
Yeah, they're laughable people.
Mainstream astronomy says there is no planet X, no Nibiru, no undiscovered massive planet in our solar system. We have mapped everything, and we have calculated orbital mechanics. If a planet-sized object were approaching the inner solar system...
So why do you think our government spends so much money on NASA just to look out into the stars, things that are millions of light years away? Just for the lulz. A lot of unpredictable individuals out there trying to prey on the weak, right when they get outside, nice and cool outside. Yeah, that's what they do. Do you think sticks and stones? Do you think sticks, stones, and the human voice and hollow cones were the first musical instruments? Yeah, I think it was. That's exactly right, Jizzle. Is it possible to have giraffes have dwarfism? I don't think so. I don't think most animals don't have dwarfism.
System on a 3,600-year orbit, we would see it. We would have detected it decades ago. But in 2016, researchers at Caltech published evidence for what they called Planet 9, a massive planet 10 times the mass of Earth orbiting far beyond Neptune. They inferred its existence from the strange clustered orbits of distant objects in the Kuiper Belt. Something massive is out there, pulling on those objects, bending their orbits in ways that only make sense if there is a large planet we have not seen yet. The researchers were careful to say this is not Nibiru, but the discovery reignited the question. If there is one massive planet we did not know about, could there be another?
Pygmy elephants there are.
The sealed tablet describes Nibiru's approach not just through gravitational effects, but through electromagnetic phenomena. The sky burns with colors never seen. The night glows as if lit by an unseen sun. The lodestone loses its way, and birds fall confused from the air. Aurora, activity. Magnetic field disruption.
Have you guys seen
These
this?
are things that happen when Earth's...
Have you guys seen this the other day? Rainbow clouds in the sky. No. Right here. This right here. It's not freaking there. It's not Aurora Borealis. It's the chemicals in the air causing an odd opalescence. I've seen their swimming trunks. Are you cross-checking any of this? Brother, I've cross-checked a lot of this, my friend. This ain't nothing new. But those politicians never cut the massive convoy they carry everywhere. I think the first instrument was drones for signaling war. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, voice and whistles and wackadoos. Do you recall why things, different thongs appeared No, not a rainbow. Not a rainbow. Do you recall speaking like how? No, this stuff, I mean, listen, this stuff appears to be as true as it can be, right? I mean, like everything checks out, you know, but the problem is you have to live long enough to know if it's real.
Magnetosphere is hit by charged particles from the sun.
TV remote exploded
but the tablet says it happens when Nibiru is near, suggesting the planet itself generates
Did you see that?
or channels
Did you see that the other day? That crazy
magnetic energy in ways our current understanding of planetary physics does not account for. Zecharia Sitchin, the researcher who popularized the Anunnaki theory in the 1970s through his book The 12th Planet, was widely dismissed by academics for claiming the Sumerians had knowledge of Nibiru that modern science did not possess. He translated ancient texts.
When science thinks they're smarter than science, people assume the ionosphere.
Literally, arguing that when the Sumerians described gods descending from the sky in flying objects, they meant exactly that. Physical craft, not metaphors. Sitchin's translations were criticized as inaccurate. Scholars fluent in Sumerian said he mistranslated key terms, cherry-picked texts that supported his theory, and ignored context. He was not a trained linguist. He was an independent researcher working from a fringe perspective. But Sitchin made specific predictions based on his reading of Sumerian texts. He said we would discover a 10th planet in the outer solar system. In 2005, Eris was discovered, a dwarf planet beyond Pluto. He said ancient texts describe genetic engineering, the deliberate manipulation of human DNA by the Anunnaki. In 2003, the Human Genome Project confirmed that human DNA contains sequences that appear to have been inserted rather than evolved. Segments that do not match the gradual...
So the reason that that popular science pushes evolution is because they want to say, we already got it figured out, don't look anymore. Don't keep looking, we've already got it figured out.
Mutation patterns seen in other species. Sitchin died in 2010. He never saw the sealed tablet translated, but the text describes exactly what he said it would: a return cycle, an astronomical trigger, and instructions for those who remain. The third section of the tablet is the most disturbing. It describes what the Anunnaki expect to find when they return. It says the following: "If the children of clay have risen to the stars and speak across the void, they are ready for the next ascension. If they still war among themselves and poison the garden, they are marked for another cleansing. The watchers will deliver the count of the worthy. The gatekeepers will separate the harvest." The children of clay. That is what the Sumerians called humanity, created from clay and the blood of a lesser god shaped by Enki to serve as workers for the Anunnaki. The texts are explicit about this. Humans were genetically engineered to be a labor force. The Anunnaki needed workers to mine gold, which they required for purposes the texts never fully.
Richard, speaking of aliens, I'm on a ship right now with a beautiful woman, human alien. They said the only people allowed are men with big... Bro, where are you at? We had a crazy UV spike a few months ago that went predicted 4 to 10 out of nowhere. Super sunburns. Third wave was COVID. Fourth was integration with human minds. Microchips in the fifth wave will still be huge food shortage. Better figure out what's going on with your food, people.
Fully explain. Modern fringe theorists suggest the gold was used to repair Nibiru's deteriorating atmosphere, that the Anunnaki were a dying civilization trying to save their planet. Mainstream academics dismiss this as science fiction projected onto ancient mythology. But the Sumerian texts are oddly specific about gold. The city of Eridu, the oldest city according to Sumerian records, was built near what are now confirmed to be some of the oldest gold mining sites in the Middle East. Radiocarbon dating places mining activity in the region as far back as 6000 BCE, predating any known civilization that should have had the metallurgical knowledge to extract and refine gold.
How you doing, brother?
The tablet says the Anunnaki will evaluate humanity based on 2 criteria. First, technological advancement, specifically space travel and long-distance communication.
Elon Musk.
Second, moral development, whether humans have transcended tribal conflict and ecological destruction. We have achieved the first. Humans have been to space. We communicate across the planet instantly. We have sent probes beyond the solar system. By the tablet standard, we have risen to the stars. But the second criterion is where it gets grim. We are still at war, still poisoning the environment. By any measure, we have met the technological threshold but failed the morale one. And according to the tablet, that determines what happens next.
Man,
Ascension or cleansing.
We're all screwed.
Ascension means genetic upgrading. The Anunnaki modified human DNA once to create us. The text suggests they can do it again, unlocking latent abilities, extending lifespan, enhancing cognition. Evolution by intervention, not natural selection.
Not natural selection.
Cleansing is simpler. A reset. Reduce the population, wipe out power structures, start over with a selected remnant. The flood narrative was a previous cleansing. The tablet suggests fire, plague, and collapse of the sky are alternative methods. The question that keeps researchers up at night is whether this is prophecy or schedule. Is the tablet predicting what might happen, or describing what will happen according to a plan set in motion thousands of years ago? If the Anunnaki are real, if they operate on time scales humans cannot comprehend, a 3,600-year orbital cycle is nothing. They could seed a planet with a genetically modified workforce, leave for a few orbits, and check back later. From their perspective, we are a crop they planted, and 2029 is harvest time. Dr. Westenra's abrupt retirement makes more sense in that context. If you translate a text that describes a species more advanced than humanity scheduled to return in 6 years, and that text reads like an operational manual rather than mythology, what do you do with that information? Publish it and cause mass panic? Bury it and hope you misunderstood? He chose a middle path. Publish in an obscure academic journal where it would be preserved but largely ignored.
I wonder what will happen
Then
to
disappear
people
before anyone asked follow-up questions.
That's probably why we don't
Other
write
researchers have tried to
communicative
access
language
the original tablet for independent verification. The British Museum has refused all requests, citing the tablet's fragility. The multispectral imaging data that revealed the hidden text has not been made publicly available. Westenra's co-authors, Dr. Sarah Prentice and Dr. Amir Nazari, have both declined to comment on the record.
There you go, bro.
When pressed, Prentice said that the translation stands as published. Interpretation is beyond their scope. That is a strange thing for an archaeologist to say. Interpretation is literally their job, unless the interpretation led somewhere they did not want to go. The timing of the 2029 alignment has not gone unnoticed. Online forums exploded when the paper was published. Independent researchers
Y2K.
started cross-referencing the tablet's data with other prophecies. The Mayan long count calendar, which famously ended in 2012, was recalculated by some scholars who argue the original conversion was off by 17 years. The corrected end date is 2029. Hopi prophecies describe the return of the star people when a blue star appears and the earth shakes. The blue star, according to some interpretations, is a planet reflecting sunlight. Nibiru, if it exists, would be an ice giant like Neptune. Blue. The Book of Revelation describes a star called Wormwood falling from heaven and poisoning the waters. A celestial object bringing catastrophe, a return of judgment. Are these describing the same event from different cultural
up,
perspectives, or is this pattern seeking, humans desperate to find meaning?
Start getting drunk.
The problem is the convergence. The Sumerian tablet gives 2029. The recalculated Mayan calendar gives the same year.
Good.
The Hopi prophecies describe signs that match increasing seismic activity, which is measurably increased. Earth's magnetic field is weakening at an accelerating rate.
12, 13 feet yesterday.
These could all be coincidences, natural cycles unrelated to ancient
This is a lot of
prophecies.
nonsense.
But the sealed tablet does not just predict these events. It explains them as consequences of Nibiru's approach, gravitational and electromagnetic interference from a massive planetary body entering the inner solar system. And if that is true, we should be able to detect it.
If the problem is if people want to get popular and they say like, oh, it didn't happen in 2012. Oh, look, there was a pubic hair on the toilet seat. It's 29. Yeah, and that's a big wackadoo. You seriously fell 12 feet and worked out? How is that possible? That's good.
And at 10 times the mass of Earth is 6 years away from an inner solar system alignment, it should be visible. Amateur astronomers with backyard telescopes should be spotting it, unless it is not coming from where we expect. The tablet describes Nibiru's orbit as highly elliptical, angled relative to the plane of the solar system. It does not approach from the ecliptic, where we do most of our sky surveys. It comes from below or above, from a direction we watch less carefully. And if it is approaching from the southern celestial hemisphere, it would only be visible from certain latitudes. There have been reports.
We watched Amish earlier.
In 2020, astronomers in Chile reported an anomalous infrared signature that did not match any known object. The data was flagged as instrumental error. In 2022, amateur astronomers in Australia claimed to have imaged a large dark object moving against the background stars. Their findings were debunked as a camera smudge. But the reports keep coming, always from the southern hemisphere, always dismissed. The final section of the sealed tablet is the part that made Westenra retire. It is written in a different hand, added later, possibly by a scribe who witnessed something and felt compelled to record it. I saw them in the 14th year of King Ur-Nammu. 3 watchers descended in the night, their craft silent as falling stars. They wore the faces of men but stood taller than any warrior. They spoke the old tongue, the language of the first city, and they asked for the king. They examined the grain stores, the ziggurat heights, the star charts we had preserved. They did not speak of when they would return. They only said the cycle continues. We are not forgotten. The 14th year.
All right, we'll continue this other. I got 2 more minutes. I'll be back in about a half hour, but I got some stuff I got to take care of. I got to make sure that freaking, and it's already dark, so I'm not going to take a camera out there. Yeah, abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. All right. This better be under 2 minutes, dude.
You're shopping with blinders on. It's a meat gold mine over there. I shit my pants in the middle of Tesco. I only went in to get some broccoli and pesto. I got caught trying on the women's clothes. I'm gonna have to start shopping instead in Waitrose. I shit my pants in the middle of Waitrose. The lady kicked me out cause I was trying on the girls' clothes. I dropped my guts all over the tomatoes. I've been banned from Waitrose, so I'll have to go to Sainsbury's. I shit my pants in the middle of Sainsbury's. I only went in to get some salad and some goat's cheese. I dropped my guts all over the tomatoes. I've been banned from Sainsbury's, so I'll have to go to Tesco's. I shit my pants in the middle of Sainsbury's. I only went in to get some salad and some goat's cheese. I dropped my guts all over the tomatoes. I've been banned from Sainsbury's, so I'll have to go to Tesco's.
Well, at least somebody's making
Dr. Bernard
freaking
here.
great music still. That's what's so important. People don't dance, and men don't dance any if they don't dance with no friends of mine. They have a notion of the list just checking for where the thing will set in motion. Yeah, that's Lamb's fault. I blame Lamb. All right, everybody. I love you guys. I'll see you guys back in about a half hour. All right, bye-bye.